Boosie's been up on Vlad's platform dozens and dozens of times. Normally, these two put out banging interviews together. There's
Right,
hella
about any
viral
topic.
clips on them. But as of right now, it does not look like that is going to be the case moving forward, because Boosie recently went live and explained to his fans that he doesn't feel the need to continue to do Vlad TV appearances because Vlad refused to pay him an extra $5,000 to appear.
I ain't do Vlad no more. We couldn't come up with a agreement. He ain't want to pay me. I wanted $5,000 more than he wanted to pay me. He didn't want to pay me, so I think I'm gonna make more money doing it this way. And I'm editing my interview now.
So what do y'all think about that? Y'all think that I think DJ Vlad, if they had a real friendship, a real connection, he's came on his show tens, maybe hundreds of times. Man, he could recoup that money with all of the other people that he gets over on, who lack literacy. How are you gonna do that to Boosie, who you look at as a friend? Tell him, no, I'm not gonna look out for your family. They was treating each other like family. I think that he shouldn't just completely deteriorated the reputation and the partnership they had over, in the grand scheme of their lifestyles, little money.
I don't know what time it is. Let's talk about it.
Now Boosie building his own.
Uh-oh.
He putting the power
I
back
get
in the
ready.
culture.
Just 7 months.
How you gonna vote when the power back in the culture?
Let's go.
I'm telling you what it is.
Hey, this Wednesday, I'm doing the interview. I'm basically gonna be answering the questions that's been in my DM since October, since my last interview.
Okay.
October, September, so it's gonna be a long ass interview about everything that been asked to me in the last 6-7 months.
Straight from the source.
I don't know where I'm gonna put it at yet, but it'll be dropping the week after. I don't know where I'm gonna put it at yet, but of course you're gonna have to pay for it. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I'm just gonna let everybody know how I feel about everything since October.
Okay, now as you can see, Boosie seems to have set up his own camera here. It looks like he's doing his own interview, which I gotta say, I don't think that that's a bad move. I do believe it'll create extra revenue for Boosie.
Right.
Do I think that
But
that
it's not the
interview
same
will
platform.
perform as good as an interview on
way.
Vlad's platform? Probably not,
No
because
way.
Vlad has what, almost
Millions
6
and millions
million
of people.
subscribers now? Well, actually, he has almost 7 million subscribers now. So he's
Wow.
got that
Vlad
built-in
is the
audience that
coach. He
watches
can't
the
be a coach.
interviews, and that kind of helps
6.5
create the
million?
revenue from the interviews that he does. Now, I do think Boosie's interview will be successful if he releases it on his own. I just don't know if it'll be as successful
Now,
as it
Vlad
is
really
on
running.
Vlad TV. I could be wrong, though. I do think it's a good business move for Boosie, but, and y'all know I don't like to defend Vlad a whole lot,
Right.
but
Vladimir.
if Vlad is paying appearance fees for people to show up, he should be able to have a profit margin left after the interview so that he himself can make money just because of the size of the platform that he does have. Now, Lil
Understandably.
Boosie says right there that the relationship is basically deteriorating because Vlad refused to pay him an extra $5,000. Now, according to Vlad, that is actually not the case. See, Boosie was getting $25,000 to appear.
Oh,
He
he
says
paying
he
him
only wanted
$25
an
an
extra
appearance?
$5,000, putting him at $30,000. But Vlad says that's not true. He says that Boosie actually requested a 40% increase in his
40%
appearance
increase.
fee, despite the numbers on Boosie's interviews slightly declining over the years.
So that's not
And Vlad
significant.
says that he showed the numbers
40% is
to
significant.
Boosie to
That's not
try to
5,000.
explain to him why it didn't make any sense business-wise to do this, but it didn't change the outcome. Boosie still refused to do an interview without the increase in.
Hold on. So Vlad he requested a 40% increase from the 25,000. He said that's just 5,000, but that's closer to 10,000, right? Yeah, that's 10,000. That's double what Boosie said, and that's why I was confused. I'm saying they have a partnership and a friendship. How would you let this deteriorate over 5,000, which would only be 20% increase? But a 40% increase is significant in profit margins for Vlad. So now this is starting to make more sense, and that's why I thought he wouldn't have run those numbers by his friend who he respects. I actually believe Vlad in this scenario. I don't think that he would do something sly and underhanded to Boosie, because it seems as though they have a real friendship.
To Boosie to try to explain to him why it, despite the requested a 40% increase in his appearance fee, despite the numbers on Boosie's interviews slightly declining over the years. And Vlad says that he showed the numbers to Boosie to try to explain to him why it didn't make any sense business-wise to do this, but it didn't change the outcome. Boosie still refused to do an interview without the increase in pay.
Originally, I wasn't paying him to do interviews, but over time, as the views kept going up, and people were really gravitating towards these interviews, we started working out appearance fees. And the fees slowly went up. And over the last couple of years, the fee that we actually stuck at was around was $25,000 per interview. And that price was justified because Boosie was pulling in like 6 million views for every interview.
The 6 million views makes you
and
how much
in
money?
that particular situation,
1,000 or more.
And I showed Boosie all the numbers and all my back-end numbers and so forth.
Right.
When he was getting around 5.5 million views, I would make around 35,000 off that interview, and he would make 25,000.
He'd make a $10,000 profit.
Right. So I had a $10,000 profit margin. He still made the majority of the money, but I was still making $10,000, so I was cool with that.
Good enough for their
right. And we were rocking like that for years. So some time had passed. It was, I don't know, about 6, 7, 8 months since our last interview. Okay. So I just hit him up one day, a couple of weeks ago, and we had a conversation. And this conversation was a private business conversation, but Boosie recently did a live where he revealed parts of this conversation. And in his live, he said that he had asked for $5,000 more, and I said no, which is why he's not going to do the interview. Now, that's not exactly accurate. So, I wasn't going to put any of this out there, but because he started putting out numbers out there and people started going, oh, Vlad being cheap, why is it only 5,000? You could pay him that, not knowing the whole picture. Okay. So I'm going to lay out the whole picture for everyone just to explain what exactly is going on.
He's too rich to play these games.
So when I called Boosie, like I said, the fee had always been $25,000. He said, I want $40,000.
So Vlad kind of starts to break down the numbers a little bit here. He says, Boosie was doing 6 million views in totality when it came to his interviews across all clips and even the long form clip interview that gets posted when Vlad does these interviews. And he says that the math just didn't make sense, right? So just to check if Vlad is being truthful here, let's whip out our handy dandy calculator and see if Vlad's math adds up. So he says Boosie was doing roughly 6 million views, again, in totality across all the clips that were posted from each interview. When you go look at Vlad's channel, you can see a lot of the clips that he posts fall between like the 6 to 10 minute mark. Really very few go over that 10-minute mark aside from the full interview clips that he posts. And that means that he's averaging probably, and this is a rough estimate, anywhere between $5 and $8 per 1,000 views that each clip does. Okay, so to figure out the math on how much revenue these interviews were generating, it's pretty simple. You take the 6 million views, you divide it by the 1,000 views it takes to get paid. That gives you 6,000, and then you times that by how much per 1,000 views he's getting. So let's just on a high end say he's getting $8. In that scenario, the interview would make about $48,000. If on the low end he's getting $5 per 1,000 views on these interview clips, he's making about $30,000. So the math does seem to add up. It does seem that Vlad is being truthful. And if he was
Vlad is at the point, and he runs such a large network, 6.5 million people, that he benefits nothing from lying about the numbers. Boosie is a sole entity. He can only be Lil Boosie. Vlad TV is an entire network and platform. Like when you turn channels on your television, do you think they're gonna lie to you about the numbers? You just happen to be able to talk to the CEO. I don't think Vlad is lying, and I'm changing my stance on the subject. I'm siding with Vlad here. At the end of the day, this is business, and you can't strong arm this man out of his business. And on top of him paying you this money for the appearance fee as it progressed over time, he also is helping you build your platform, reputation, and name, because Vlad TV is bigger than Lil Boosie. Because Vlad TV platforms everybody.
Boosie 25,000 and it did 6 million views and he only got $5 per 1,000 views, then he only generated 30,000 in revenue, meaning that his profit on each interview is only about 5,000 bucks. Now again, that's variable. It probably shifts up and down depending on the total number of views that interview does, but on the low end, he's getting about 30,000 bucks. On the high end, he's getting about 48 to 50,000 bucks, which to be honest is fair, right? Because again, he has 7 million YouTube subscribers. So it is fair for Vlad to be able to profit from the interviews he's doing, especially since he's, confessed that he is paying appearance fees for some of his guests. It's no different than booking an artist for a concert. You're not going to book an artist for a concert and pay them $100,000 if the concert is only going to generate $105,000. You see what I'm saying? Like the promoter needs to be able to make money from it too. Now, granted, Vlad probably makes money from other social media platforms, from his views and impressions and everything like that. But from YouTube alone, Vlad's math does seem to add up.
Income source.
And I'm like, fam, I can't do 40,000. That's just putting me in the hole in a situation like this.
Can't shoot yourself in the foot.
And he's like, well, I'll go as low as 35.
And
I'm like, man, listen, I might be able to do 30 after I run the numbers, but 35 is definitely out of the question. But let me go ahead and run my numbers and actually see what's going on. So I went back and I looked through the last, 5 or 6 interviews, and I looked, and the profit margin on each of these interviews was around $10,000.
Right.
So I showed him the numbers. I sent him a spreadsheet showing him my back end numbers, and I'm like, bro, the most I could do is 25. You're asking for 35. Your traffic has been dipping over the years. You've gone from about 6 million to about 5.5 to about 5 and some change. So you're looking at about maybe a 10, 15% decrease in views, which means a 10 to 15% decrease in revenue, as you know, but you're asking for a 40% increase in appearance fee.
Bro, I have to change my entire stance on Vlad TV. I had no idea that this man was this real. He's keeping it so real. He breaking the game down to the black community's OG. Everybody look at Boosie as the big homie. No. The big homie get paid from somewhere. Vlad TV really is breaking down to the game to him and giving it to him in spreadsheet format with absolutely no emotions. This is how I run the platform, and this is your exact value. You could feel like you're worth more, but when this guy runs the numbers for you and shows you exactly what you're worth, you can't lash out on him and do that on social media. That's wrong. Boosie's in the wrong here. I think Vlad is did appropriately by him, and Vlad did his best to secure the friendship. I completely changed my stance on it. This is too solid, and all the numbers is backing up. I'm not that emotional. I gotta learn about the money.
A 40% increase. It doesn't make any business sense, because what'll end up happening is, look, Boosie's already at home, right? He wakes up, he does the interview. There's no cost associated with him, and he was getting paid $25,000.
Right.
I have to fly because I don't have a studio or a camera crew in Georgia, in Atlanta, so I have to hire a camera crew in Atlanta. I have to fly from LA to Atlanta. I have to get a hotel. I have to have all the costs associated with it. And then afterwards, I have to pay to get the video edited and pay my crew and everything else like that. And as you know, with YouTube, I'm taking all the risk because sometimes videos get demonetized, right? Especially when you talk about someone like a Boosie who has, he swears, he's talking about a lot of edgy stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm taking 100% of the risk. So I'm like, listen, I cannot pay you $35,000 when I'm going to make nothing, or maybe I'm even going to take a loss.
Right.
And Boosie was like, yo, you're being cheap. And I said, I'm not being cheap.
He's not.
I'm no fan of DJ Vlad, but what he's saying makes a lot of sense. Now, why did this entire situation come about? Because it's not like Boosie just dropped a banging album or a super single that's got the radio on fire or has some kind of big trial or something like that that just concluded that justifies the increase in pay that he is requesting, right? So what led to it? Well, apparently Vlad talked to Sean Cotton. Sean Cotton Cotton's the guy who runs Say Cheese TV, and Sean Cotton told him that he spoke with Boosie, and Boosie basically told him that he heard Vlad bragging about how much money he had paid Tekashi 6ix9ine for an appearance on Vlad TV. Boosie felt offended that he wasn't getting that same kind of pay, and so he decided that he wanted to up his price.
This all comes after 6ix9ine got cool with Vlad, and Vlad's running around saying, yeah, that's the most I ever paid for an interview. And Vlad is like, and Boosie like, hey, like, nigga, we over here, we do crazy too. We do 100 parts. We do 100-part joints, and then the full interview, you making a million, an extra million. Man, give me 5 more thousand.
You know, that's one reason. The other reason is Boosie is a hustler, and this is just what hustlers do, bro. They're gonna try to increase their bag. If it fails, it fails. But if it succeeds, then they successfully made more money. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way that the business works.
I'm being put in a situation where you make all the money and I make none of the money. It simply doesn't make any business sense.
Well, let me ask you, what was it that caused the price hike? Because I feel like it would be more understandable if he just beat a major case, or if something significant happened, and you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we see rappers go through crazy things and everybody wants that breaking story. What was it that you think this to come about?
I don't know. I know
through crazy things and everybody wants that breaking story. What was it that you think caused this to come about?
I don't know. I know Sean Cotton, me and Sean actually had a conversation about this yesterday. He had put out a video where he said that he had heard from someone that Boosie was upset because I had mentioned that I paid Tekashi more than I'd ever paid anyone else.
Right.
And that might be the reason. I've never
come about. Story. Like, sometimes we see rappers go through crazy things and everybody wants that breaking story. What was it that you think caused this to come about?
I don't know. I know Sean Cotton, me and Sean actually had a conversation about this yesterday. He had put out a video where he said that he had heard from someone that Boosie was upset because I had mentioned that I paid Tekashi more than I'd ever paid anyone else. And that might be the reason. I've never actually asked Boosie to confirm this, but if that is true, you guys have to understand, Tekashi brought in like 20 million views.
International superstar.
It was the biggest interview of 2025. It was the biggest meme of 2025. The whole I stole that shit, but that was a one-off. The other Tekashi interviews were not, that same price, right? Because they didn't get those same type of views. I've paid Boosie way more than I paid Tekashi.
Right.
Way more.
And not only that, it doesn't seem like Tekashi is that consistent versus Boosie is more of a recurring guest.
Yeah.
And I hope that Boosie, I don't wish, whatever direction he chooses to go, but I hope he realizes the power and the dynamic that you two have.
Right.
Because both of you mesh very well, and it's the presentation entirely that makes it what it is.
Right. Boosie's ruining it.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think me and Boosie play off each other very well. So Boosie went on live. Like I said, I wasn't going to say any of this. This was just going to be a private conversation between me and Boosie. Right. And if people ever ask, I'd be like, oh, well, me and Boosie just busy. And, at some point we might hook up or not. I mean, it is what it is. That's my man.
100%.
But he decided to make a video. And in the video, he said, yeah, I'm going to do the interview myself. And I'm going to have my kids interview me. And I think I'll make more money this way.
Absolutely not.
Now, what Vlad is saying,
Absolutely
it
not.
makes a lot of
We not
sense,
about to watch
right?
that
If
shit. Let's be
Takashi
real.
got paid more
Love
but
Boosie,
pulled
but we
in
not about to watch that.
triple or quadruple the amount of views that a Boosie interview does, it makes sense why he got paid more. But also, Vlad has more of a relationship with Boosie than he has with Takashi. Boosie coming on Vlad's platform has been more consistent. He's been a
100%.
regular guest for years at this point. So I hear what Vlad's saying about he has collectively paid Boosie way more than he ever paid Takashi to appear. From a business standpoint, I gotta say that I do agree with what Vlad is saying
I agree
here.
with
Do I
Vlad.
think that Boosie is gonna drop an interview by himself and that interview is gonna generate $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for him? Probably not. I think Boosie is severely underestimating the platform that Vlad has built over the years. Like it or not, Vlad is the biggest interviewer in hip hop. Getting on his show comes with that built-in audience. Now, is that to say Boosie's interview is gonna flop without Vlad? Nah, that's not what I'm saying at all. But I think Boosie may find out that getting a guaranteed $25,000 appearance fee to do an interview with Vlad is a lot easier than trying to film, record, edit, promote, and distribute an interview himself
100%.
and make back all of the money. You know, now
Sometimes
Boosie, he's seen all the
backfire on you.
discourse happening online, everybody talking about this, and he went live and he pretty much said, look, it's no bad blood between me and Vlad. I just wanted to get my bag up. He refused to give me the appearance fee that I wanted, so I'm going to do an interview on my own. But he basically says me and Vlad are good. We ain't got no problems. It ain't no beef. And he tries to clear the entire situation up a little bit.
Hey, y'all on social media trying to make this like it's a beef between me and Vlad, bro. Like, that's my motherfucking guy, bro. Like, I can call Vlad right now, bro, and we'll laugh about shit, bro. Like, me trying to find a, better way to make more money out of my interviews. I'm a hustler, bro. Like,
100%.
if two people can't agree on something, that's what people do. Like, it's nothing, man. It's no big deal at all, bro. Like, call Vlad right now. We gonna laugh this shit out, bro. Like, but me, trying to hustle and make more money if I can. That's what hustlers do, bro. Like,
may not work out, but ain't nothing
never
wrong
satisfied, bro. Like,
we trying to fix it. We trying.
if I can try to find a
platform.
better way, I'ma
Understand it.
always try to find a better way, bro.
Okay.
It ain't got nothing to do with me and my relationship with my partner, bro. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with it, bro. Like, I don't see why y'all upset, bro. Like, y'all love our interview. I don't see why y'all upset, bro. But I got an interview coming this week.
Yeah, so we got an understanding of the story and why Boosie and Vlad ain't really making interviews and stuff like that no more. I got way more understanding about how Vlad runs his platform and the numbers. The numbers is the most important. We got to stay focused in this life. We got to run this money up. We got to run an impact. We got to be able to impact your community. Vlad has the biggest impact in Black culture. This is proven through this video. And it's important to understand how he's done it. I'm MasoMoney. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. If y'all don't do none of those things though for me, family, just watch another video. I'll see y'all.